Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be going through my week 2 NFL power rankings here today after an exciting and sometimes very sloppy week 1 of football. We only have 4 categories today as after 1 week it's really hard to tell where teams stand. So we have these 4 categories here. Great start, teams off to a really good start after week 1. A good start, which is just good. Okay means you're kind of just okay where we're at, and a bad start to your year. So let's go ahead and get going here with the Arizona Cardinals, who I'm actually, even though they lost, I'm going to put them here in a good start category because they played the Bills very, very well. The Arizona offense was clicking all day. I mean, the only reason why they really lost is because, one, they couldn't stop the alien Superman known as Josh Allen. And 2, Kyler Murray just could not see Marvin Harrison Jr. wide open for the life of him. But it was a good start. The defense needs to be shored up a little bit, but very encouraging signs, taking one of the AFC's best to the wire, basically. So good job, Arizona. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons. They're off to a bad start. Only scored 10 points against the Steelers. Kirk Cousins did not look good at all. I mean, your defense did play decently against the Steelers' offense, only giving up 6 field goals. But other than that, it was just a very disappointing offensive performance from the Kirk Cousins-led Falcons, so they're in bad start. Another team in good start, Baltimore. Even though they did lose to the Chiefs on opening night, it was right down to the wire, toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in football. Overall, just a toe away from tying the game up, basically. So it was a good start for Baltimore. So up there. Except Buffalo, gonna say off to a great start. Josh Allen was insane. That's the main reason off to a great start because Josh Allen had 4 total touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 passing. Some of the young receivers, Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir, looked pretty solid as well. And so did James Cook. The defense a little bit worrisome against the Cardinals offense, but overall, I put Bills in a great start mainly because Josh Allen looked fantastic. Carolina, I can't even explain what that performance was. Bryce Young looks absolutely terrible. The defense couldn't stop anything, and like one of the good players on the team, Derek Brown, is going to be out for the year. They got 47 points to the Derek Carr-led Saints. To Derek Carr. So yeah, Carolina might be in 0-17 danger. Let's just go with that there. Next up, the Chicago Bears. I'm going to put them here in okay start. The main reason for that is, even though they did win the game, Caleb Williams did not look good against a pretty mediocre Titans defense. He was not very efficient, had under 100 yards passing. Offense could not do anything all day. But what saved him is that defense took advantage of really bad quarterback play by Will Levis, and the special teams also had a memorable moment as well. So those units were good. Offense is a little bit concerning, but it is the first real NFL action for a rookie quarterback, and those always kind of go bad. I think Williams will get better in time once he learns that he can't hold on to the ball like he did at USC. You're no longer in the Pac-12. You're not facing Cal every week. You're facing NFL players, the best of the best. But I think he will learn and he will get better. So, okay start for the Bears. Bad start is the Bengals because they somehow lost to the Patriots. 16-10 against the Patriots. That offense, even though T. Higgins was out, only scored 10 points against the New England Patriots, who just traded their best defensive player, Matthew Judon, in the offseason. And it is pitiful. Joe Burrow looked awful. Jamar Chase could not get going until a little bit late in the game. And it is just a bad start for the Bengals. And speaking of bad starts, Cleveland. Yeah, Deshaun Watson is absolute hot turd garbage. I watched that entire game. No point did Deshaun Watson look even remotely competent as an NFL quarterback, let alone an average one. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And that defense couldn't do much of anything because they were on the field constantly because the Browns kept going 3-and-out on offense. They need to get rid of Deshaun, but they can't because of that massive, stupid, guaranteed contract they gave him. And, of course, on Monday, he had another sexual assault lawsuit filed against him. It is the absolute worst start the Browns could have asked for, and I do not have faith in this team because of the quarterback situation. Honestly, Jameis Winston will be better because he can at least throw the ball far and not do check downs every play. So, bad start for the Browns. But a great start for the Cowboys, as that offense for Dallas took it to town against the Browns defense. Dak was pretty solid, was game manager. The defense got a lot of stops. They had a punt return touchdown as well. It was a complete three-phase domination by the Cowboys. And the saddest thing about this, the worst thing about the game for the Cowboys is that before the end of the first half, Mike McCarthy refused to let Brandon Aubrey attempt a 71-yard field goal. Because he hit a 66-yarder before a penalty perfectly. And so it's just, come on, man. Let him have it. Let him try it. So great start for Dallas. Denver, bad start. Offense could not do anything against the Seahawks. Bo Nix looked terrible, made some really bad throws, had 2 interceptions. The only reason why they were competitive in the first half is because they got 2 safeties for some reason. And yeah, really bad start there for Denver. Off to a good start is the Detroit Lions. The reason why they're not being put in great is because of the very slow first half of football they had, where they only scored, I believe, was it 3 or 10? I don't necessarily remember too much from that one, but they got it going in the second half. They won in overtime with a very physical, dominant run game against a really bad Rams D line, and the defense actually held it pretty well, only giving out 20 points to the Rams offense, which is projected to be one of the best offenses in football. So, good start there for the Lions. A bad start, I got to put the Packers. They would be in okay if Jordan Love didn't get hurt, but since Jordan Love did get hurt and projected to miss at least 2 to 3 weeks at minimum, it is a bad start for the Packers. But, unlike a lot of these other teams, the offense did look good against one of the best teams in football in Philadelphia. It was a very sloppy game. A lot of penalties called on Green Bay. A lot of missed tackles, drop catches. I think it's mainly because of a combination of bad field play, which also affected the Eagles on defense as well, especially in that first half, and a lack of playing time in the preseason because the starters only got like 3 plays on offense in the first game of the year. So, Packers off to a bad start, mainly because of the Jordan Love injury, but luckily it looks like he might be back in 2 weeks. So, might only have to suffer 1 game of Malik Willis. So, Green Bay in bad start. Houston, I say off to a good start. They survived Anthony Richardson. C.J. Stroud looked really good. Defense clamped down when they had to. Great start for Houston, starting 1-0. And even though they lost, I'm going to put Indy in the good start category because Anthony Richardson looked unstoppable at times. There are still moments where he needs to develop. His accuracy in particular needs to be better, but if you want to talk about splash plays, he is already one of the best quarterbacks in the league for that. Had insane rushing numbers, had bombs galore. So, yeah, the only thing he needs to work on is accuracy. Maybe get a little bit more Jonathan Taylor going, but the reason why they're in good start is because Anthony Richardson looked solid, and that's what they need to see. Jacksonville, gonna put them in okay. The reason why they're okay is that they did have a 17-0 lead against the Dolphins, one of the best offenses in the league, but they did end up blowing it as in the second half, their offense could not do anything. Like nothing. They gave up a 17-0 lead and ended up losing 20-17 to Miami. And in the second half, Trevor Lawrence just did not look great. So they're an okay. Kansas City. I mean, I can't else but put them in great start. They beat the Ravens. They're probably number 1 challenger in the AFC. They got Xavier Worthy going, and I hate you, Buffalo, for letting the Chiefs get the fastest guy ever running in the combine. Why would you let Patrick Mahomes get that weapon? Why would you do that to the league? So Kansas City off to a great start. I mean, not really much else to say. The defense played really well against Lamar Jackson, so great start for them. Okay start, even though they won, I am putting the Chargers here. It was a very messy, sloggy game. Really focused style of new coach Jim Harbaugh. A lot of running the football. Justin Herbert did not pass a lot, which was not surprising because of lack of weapons, but he got one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he barely used him, so a little bit concerning there. And they did play against the Raiders. Not that great a competition, so an okay start for them. LA Rams, I'm going to put in a good start. They hang tough with the Lions, won it overtime against the Lions, one of the best teams in the NFC. A little bit worried about Puka Nacua, who is on the IR, so up there in good start there. But Cooper Kupp looked back fully healthy. Kyren Williams ran decently. The defense did better, I thought, against the explosive Lions offense, only giving up 20 points in regulation. But they got gassed at the end by the run game, where they really missed Aaron Donald. So good start there for the Rams. Raiders, bad start. They lost to the Chargers in a very sloggy, messy game. There was a fight there at the end, so yeah, they're in bad start. Dolphins, I'm also going to put them in an okay start because they went down 17-0 to the Jaguars. The offense could not click at all for the first 2.5 quarters, but in that third quarter, they started turning around a bit, ended up coming from behind and winning, but very concerning how slow the offense got started, especially because this team normally gets off to a fast start early on in the year. So, okay start. Minnesota, good start for them. The only reason they're not in great start is because they did beat up on the Giants. So, not really too impressive there, but Sam Darnold looked really, really good in that game. Aaron Jones, newly acquired from the Packers, had a great game as well. Justin Jefferson had a touchdown as well. The defense absolutely killed Daniel Jones. So, yeah, right there is where the Vikings are going to go. Not too much higher. Another team that got up to a great start, the Patriots. I mean, they beat the Bengals. They're the one big upset this week that I did not see coming, so they get put in a great start. Obviously, I do not think they're going to be in the top tier very long, but since they won against Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, holding that offense to 10 points, they get put up in a great start. So, good job, New England. I think that shows a lot about the coaching culture that Gerard Mayo is bringing to them. So, off to a great start. Another team off to a great start, even though it was against the Panthers. That the big difference between the Panthers and the Saints and Vikings is because the Saints scored 47 freaking points. Yeah, even though they faced Bryce Young, not too much else to say about that. 47 points for the Saints. That defense looked really, really good against Bryce Young, so up there. Bad start, Giants. How did you pay Daniel Jones that much money and not pay Saquon? You saw Saquon we'll get to that in a bit, get 3 touchdowns. Daniel Jones threw a touchdown to another team. It's just absolutely dog poop in New York right now. So right there. Jets, off to an okay start. Even though they lost, even though the offense struggled at times, the main thing for them is Aaron Rodgers made it through the game, and he had some moments. He had some of those vintage Rodgers moments. I mean, he got a touchdown to Allen Lazard on a free play. I mean, how much more Aaron Rodgers could he get? So, even though it's off to an okay start because, again, the offense wasn't that efficient, only scored 13 points, and San Francisco kind of ran all over that defense. But Rodgers made it through the game healthy. It is their first game against one of the best teams of football. This team will get better if Rodgers stays healthy and is able to shake off that rust. But we'll see in the future. Right now, I think Jets fans are just happy that Rodgers is still around. Philadelphia, off to a good start. I mean, they gave up 29 points to the Packers. It was a sloppy game on their defense. A lot of penalties on them. And Jalen Hurts had some boneheaded decisions that led to 2 interceptions. Had 2 fumbles, lost one of them. But they did get the win against the Packers. Their run game with Saquon looks fantastic. And not much else to say about them. They're in the good start tier. Pittsburgh, an okay start. What the heck was that offense? 6 field goals should not be enough to win a game in the National Football League, but it did because your defense held the Falcons to 10 points. So that's the reason up here an okay start. Seattle, off to a good start. They got the win against the Denver Broncos pretty convincingly as well. That defense made Bo Nix's day a nightmare, basically. Geno Smith had some rough moments, but has some good ones, including a long rushing touchdown for them. So, good start for the Seattle Seahawks, 1-0. San Francisco, great start. I mean, no Christian McCaffrey, no problem. They absolutely ran all over the Jets' elite defense. Purdy was more of a game manager this game, but was able to be efficient and not turn the ball over as well. So, great start for San Fran. Then we got Tampa Bay. Off to a good start. I mean, they did play Washington, so a little bit of caveat there, but they were able to whoop them, even though Jane Daniels kind of ran a bit on them. But Baker Mayfield looks fantastic for them. And he's off to a really, really good start. So up there for Tampa Bay. Tennessee, Will Levis. They had it. They had that game. They were leading 17-0 against the Bears, and they blew it. Absolutely blew it. Will Levis just fell apart there at the end and threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. Not much to say about that. Then we got Washington, another team in the bad start tier. Though the offense was able to move a bit against the Bucs defense, Jaden Daniels' running ability really helped him out there. So, but still, not much. There's not much going on there for the Washington Commanders. So, overall, this is what my tiered list looks this week. A little bit different than my normal ones because it's only week one. Only got one game to go out for each team. So, off to a great start. I have the Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans, New Orleans Saints, and New England Patriots. Good start. I have the Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, Indianapolis Colts, Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals, and LA Rams. Okay start, Miami Dolphins, LA Chargers, Pittsburgh Steelers, Chicago Bears, New York Jets, and Jacksonville Jaguars. Bad start is the Green Bay Packers, Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders, Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans, Washington Commanders, Cincinnati Bengals, New York Giants, and Carolina Panthers. Just so you know, the order within the tiers does not matter. It's kind of general tier where each team is at. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What was your biggest surprise from week one? Remember to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back very soon with more NFL content. Peace.